Hey y'all, I'm Paula Deen, and guess what? I'm gonna take y'all out to the ballpark today. You know, here in Savannah, our local baseball team, the Sand Gnats, have asked me to throw out the first pitch, if you can believe that. Now, I'm not sure I can even make it past home plate, but one thing's a safe bet. All of today's recipes are gonna hit a home run. So after the 7th inning stretch, I'm gonna head back to the kitchen and whip up some of my all-time favorite baseball recipes. First up, you'll never strike out serving up these starters. It's my Macho Nachos that are loaded up with chili and cheese, and a beer-battered Cajun Bloomin' Onion. That's a sure winner. And then you're gonna be safe serving up some soft Ball Pretzels. They're salty and delicious. And no baseball game would be complete without a good old-fashioned hot dog that will have all your players walking home for them. So batter up, y'all, and grab your oven mitts. It's time to play ball. Guess where I've been, y'all? I just threw out the first pitch of Savannah Sand Gnats game. What y'all been doing? I brought some footage to show y'all I got it over the home plate. It actually made it to the catcher. I was so proud. So, I got some home movies I want to show y'all, and I'm going to be chopping and prepping to make some Macho Nachos for y'all. And in the meantime, while I'm chopping, y'all watch the video. What is that? What is that thing right there? I think that I'm going to choose the finger. Let's go check out the food. Y'all want to? All right, Bill, what you cooking?
Polish sausage, bratwurst.
Those look delicious. In fact, I just had a bite of somebody's burger.
If it was a good burger, it had to come from me.
Who do you think's gonna win?
Yo, awesome.
Joining us on the first pitch is Paula Deen, host of Paula's Home Cooking on the Food Network and owner of Libby and Sons.
Here we go. Thank you. Good luck. Thank you. Safe! Okay, so how'd y'all like the home movies? I had a fabulous time, and I told y'all we're having Macho Nachos. All right, so I got some spring onions chopped. I've got tomatoes, I got jalapenos, I got 2 different kinds of cheeses. I got diced onions, I got chili, and I got refried beans. So we're gonna start putting these together. And I don't know about y'all, but when you go to a Mexican restaurant and get Mexican food, they like pile all the chips up and just put the goodie on the top. Well, we're not gonna do it that way. We are gonna make sure we got bunches of goodie all the way through it. I'm just gonna kind of dollop the refried beans around. I love these. And now these are just canned refried beans. I mean, you could go to the trouble of cooking pinto beans, but these are so delicious. All right, now I'm gonna sprinkle it with a little onions and a little Monterey Jack. This way, we're gonna have some goodie on every chip. All right, now let's see, I'm gonna throw a couple of jalapenos, and y'all can see I'm leaving the seeds. I've cut these into rings. And speaking of rings, I've done it again, y'all, I'm sorry. I bet people are saying, she's just doing that on purpose so she can show her rings. And I'm really not, I just forget. I worked hard to get that ring, y'all. waited a long, long time. Now y'all notice that I've got all these things warmed because we want them to be hot when we put them on our chips, because we're gonna stick this in the oven, but only long enough for our cheese to melt. And you can put this as heavy or as light as you want them. In fact, you wouldn't even have to use chili on this if you didn't want to. You could just actually scramble you up some ground beef, you know, and just sprinkle big old chunks. Now we're gonna put a little cheddar cheese. I think I hear my stomach growling. All right, now here we're gonna go with another layer. You could actually put some salsa on this, just whatever your family likes. I can't tell y'all how exciting it was to throw out the first pitch. My family's always been real big baseball fans. In fact, my brother Bubba, when he was 19 years old, went to Atlanta, Georgia, and tried out for the Atlanta Braves. Bubba could hit that ball out of the park every time. In fact, when he was growing up, he was the home run king. He was one heck of a pitcher and a hitter. So here we go, back to the nachos. I'm gonna continue to layer this till everything is gone. And y'all wanna make sure that your dish is oven proof. So we're gonna put this in the oven for a few minutes. I've got my oven preheated to 350 degrees. Now I'm fixing to show y'all how to make an onion bloom at home. It's a very simple batter. I'm gonna use equal parts all-purpose flour to beer. And you wanna be careful while you're measuring your beer, because you don't wanna measure the foam. And I'm gonna tilt it so I don't get a big head on it. And I'm going to actually do a little under 2 cups because you'll want your batter more on the thicker side than the thinner side. So I'm going to make this, and we're going to let it sit for about 3 or 4 hours so that the yeast from that beer can activate with that flour. So all we're going to do is just dump that in there. And I think I'm just going to put some plain old Cajun seasoning. All right, we're gonna let this batter sit, and let's talk about our onions. You wanna make sure that you do not disturb the root end of your onion, because this root is what's gonna hold all of our petals together. All right, now I'm gonna even off this top, just like that, and I'm gonna pull all this skin off. This is a very, very important step. We're not gonna bring our knife up next to that root, because it would actually make our onion collapse too wide. So I'm gonna drop that down, and then I'm gonna go all the way in. I wanna make sure the blade of that knife goes through the center of that onion, and then we're gonna do the same thing there. I love using our big Vidalia onions, but our Texas sweet onion is real good, but you wanna make sure that he's nice and round, and we're just gonna take our onion and go around until the whole onion is cut. All right, now look, I'm gonna turn this onion upside down, and I'm just gonna kind of wiggle him. So when we come back, we're gonna fry up this bad boy, and we're gonna taste those delicious Macho Nachos. So y'all don't go anywhere. Smell those wonderful nachos in the oven. So I think they're telling me they're ready to come out. So let's see what we've got. Oh my goodness, we've got a plate full of nachos. They smell so good. I think I'm just gonna put just a little dollop of sour cream, or maybe 4 little dollops. And I'm gonna sprinkle them with some tomatoes and some green onion tops, and just for Michael, jalapenos. But let's see what we've got here now. It's so good, and so messy, and so spicy. I love that spicy. Well, I'm gonna sit those right over here. All right, that takes care of our Macho Nachos. And next I wanna show y'all how I make those blooming onions. And this is my batter that I've had sitting up for about 3 hours. I'm gonna give it a little stir and see if I like the consistency of it. I've got a little flour right here, and I think I'm gonna just dust it. If your batter is too thin, it'll come off and your batter will be all in your grease and not on your onion. We've got our Dutch oven filled with peanut oil. So I'm gonna take our onion and I'm gonna lay it down in our batter, and I'm just gonna spoon that batter all in there because I want it on every petal. And we wanna make sure that our temperature is where it should be, because if we put it in too cold a grease, our onion's just gonna go soggy on us. So I'm gonna check this with a thermometer, and we're at 350. So here we go. I'm gonna pick him up by his side, but you just wanna be careful because when I put this onion in, I run the risk of this boiling over. So you wanna be real careful and not fill it too full. Now I've got to let him stay down in there because I want that batter to kind of adhere before I disturb him. But you can see how he's totally submerged in grease, and that's what you need to make a successful blooming onion. All right, let's see, I'm gonna ease him up. Now I'm gonna let him drain over the pot for a minute to get that grease out of him. Then I'm gonna let it drain there just for a second, and I'm gonna put him on our platter. Now I have chosen ranch dressing as a dipping sauce. Ooh, this onion looks teetotally perfect. And have y'all ever noticed how Gertie shows up just as I'm ready to taste? I don't know if you'll like onions though, girl. The onion was a huge success. So, I want to move on to the pretzels. All right, we're going to start with a packet of yeast, and we've got a cup of warm water, and the water temperature should be 98 degrees. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to take our flour, and I'm going to sift it into this bowl. Now, I'm getting this pot of water ready to boil because this is what we're going to cook our pretzels in. And I'm going to add some baking soda, and they say it brings out the flavor. Now, to our dissolved yeast, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of softened butter. You didn't think we was going to make a pretzel without butter, did you? And I'm going to add a little salt, and I'm going to add half of our flour to this. Now I'm going to sprinkle a couple of tablespoons of sugar over that. And we're going to proceed to mix this for 3 minutes. I love the smell of yeast. It kind of reminds me of those fabulously divine yeast rolls that the school made when I was in grammar school and high school. I just loved them. Okay, I'm going to come in here now and add the rest of our flour. I'm gonna mix that up real good. Okay, so here we go. All right, just put a little flour in that pretty dough. See what a pretty dough that batter made. It's just beautiful. And now we're gonna just put our dough here, and we're just gonna cover this. And I'm gonna set it aside in a warm place. Now, you can cover it with saran wrap, but I just like the idea of that damp rag until it doubles in size. And I think right back here is a good spot. And when we come back, I'm gonna show you how to shape and cook these pretzels and show you some more home movies. Go Sand Gnats! Okay, our dough should have doubled in size by now, and yes, it has. Punch it down. See all the air coming out of it? And that's gonna redistribute the yeast back through our pretzels. All right, let our dough fall out onto our floured surface. gonna need this some more. So now this batch of dough that we have is gonna make a dozen pretzels. So I'm gonna cut it in half. Okay. Roll it around in the flour, and we're gonna roll this piece of dough out to about 18 inches. That looks like 18 inches. So all we're gonna do is pick up each end, crisscross it, and crisscross it again, and we've got our pretzel. We're gonna put him right over there because we are gonna let these rise one more time on our tray before we throw them into our boiling water. So we're gonna pick it up, twist it and bring it down. And we've got our pretzel. Now we're gonna stick these over to the side in a warm place, and we're gonna let them re-rise. But in the meantime, I've got another batch over here ready. And I'm gonna take our spatula and I'm gonna give it a spray. And we've got our water here boiling. And you can see how that slipped right off. And I'm gonna boil these for about 1 minute. Their process is much like cooking a bagel in the fact that they go in water before they go into the oven. All right, we're gonna take our last 3 out and cut off that hot stove. I about worked up a sweat here like I did at the ballpark. Ooh, that was the hottest ballpark. So now, I'm gonna take my butter and I'm gonna butter these up real good because I'm gonna sprinkle them with a lot of kosher salt. The salt is what gives it its punch, or the sesame seed, or whatever you're using. Plus, it can't hurt the taste of them, surely not. All right, and I'm gonna take my kosher salt. And I think in your frozen food section, where you can buy the frozen pretzels, I think they may have actually a pretzel salt in them. But this kosher salt works just as good as far as I'm concerned. So we're gonna run these in a 500-degree preheated oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. And then we're gonna have a nice, fat, hot homemade pretzel. All right, my first batch is ready over here. It should be ready, and it is. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I love my pretzels with mustard. So, I'm gonna check it out. It's still kind of warm. This is so good. It's real savory, but y'all come right back because I want to show you how to turn a pretzel not into a savory, but a sweet one. And I'm going to show you how to dress that hot dog where he's going to be so pretty. So let's share some tips on great baseball food. Now, if you don't want to make those homemade pretzels, it's all right. They've got them in the frozen food department. In fact, these are frozen pretzels, and you can dress them up. I think I'm going to brush this one with butter. That makes it good already. And I think I'm going to sprinkle it with a little kosher salt, and then I'm going to sprinkle it with sesame seeds. Ooh, that one's going to be so good. I think for this one, let's put a little cinnamon sugar on it. I love a sweet pretzel once in a while. Oh, yeah. But I'm gonna drizzle him some chocolate. Now let's talk hot dogs. Everybody eats hot dogs. The best ways to eat a hot dog is to take your raw dogs and spiral bacon around them. And I love grilled onions. So I'm gonna put a little bit of that. Michael loves the jalapeno, and I love cheese on my hot dog. And I love coleslaw. Just a little slaw. Oh gosh, this looks like a Dagwood hot dog. Mmm. Mmm, mmm, mmm. It takes it from ordinary to extraordinary. I just love Ballpark food. The Macho Nachos and the Bloomin' Onion and this array of pretzels are so good, whether you're sitting at the stands at the ball game or whether you're sitting on your sofa in front of the TV. So I hope that you'll try some of these and like them, and I also hope that y'all will get out and support your local teams. In fact, if you're ever in Savannah, we would love to have you come to one of the Sand Gnats games, because did I forget to tell you girls, these guys are so cute. So until next time, America, I send y'all love and best dishes from my home plate to yours.